And joining me now is White House National Security Council spokesman John Kirby. Good morning, John. Let's start with President Biden's comments saying we are facing the potential of a nuclear Armageddon. I know the White House has said these are consistent with comments he has used in the past, but he's never said anything quite as stark as this. So is the president right? Are we facing a potential nuclear Armageddon?
The president was reflecting the very high stakes that are in play right now, Martha, when you have modern nuclear power and the leader of that modern nuclear power willing to use irresponsible rhetoric the way that Mr. Putin has several times in just the last week or two, as well as the high tensions in Ukraine over just the course of the last few days. So the president, I think, was accurately reflecting the fact that the stakes are very high right now.
And he gets a daily intelligence briefing, military updates from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. So are the statements the result of what he has heard or his own conclusions? Because those were really frightening comments.
His comments were not based on new or fresh intelligence or new indications that Mr. Putin has made a decision to use nuclear weapons. And quite frankly, we don't have any indication that he has made that kind of decision, Martha, nor have we seen anything that would give us pause to reconsider our own strategic nuclear posture in our efforts to defend our own national security interests or those of our allies and partners. What the president was reflecting was that the stakes are high right now, given what's going on the battlefield in Ukraine and given the very irresponsible and reckless comments made by Vladimir Putin in just the last few days. Now, look, he's also said we're not going to be intimidated. Neither we nor our allies are going to be intimidated by this. And we're going to continue to provide support and security assistance to Ukraine as is necessary.
You say you haven't seen any evidence that he has made a decision about this, but have you seen anything beyond Putin's rhetoric that leads you to believe he could do this? And if you did, what is it you would see?
We are monitoring this as best we can. And we have been monitoring his nuclear capabilities, frankly, since he invaded Ukraine again back in February. So we're monitoring this very, very closely. And what I can tell you is that through all that process, we just simply haven't seen an indication that Mr. Putin has either made a decision to use nuclear weapons in Ukraine or has done anything to get closer to that decision-making process. So we're watching it as best we can, Martha. And again, the best thing I could tell you is that we haven't done anything to change our own strategic nuclear posture. And that's really about as far as we can go. We're watching this very, very closely.
And we also heard the president say the problem he worries about now is that Putin doesn't have a way out of this, can't really save face. That just got more complicated with the explosion on the bridge. Can you tell us what you know about that explosion and what is the way out for Vladimir Putin?
We don't really have anything more to add to the reports about the explosion on the bridge. I just don't have anything to contribute to that this morning. What I can tell you is that Mr. Putin started this war, and Mr. Putin could end it today simply by moving his troops out of the country. He's the one who chose to start this conflict. Again, he can choose to end it. And the president was talking about finding a way to end this war, which we all want to do. We all want to see this war end. It's gone on way too long. And what needs to happen is for the two sides to be able to sit down and negotiate and find a way out of this peacefully and diplomatically. Now, Mr. Putin has shown no indication, none, that he's willing to do that. In fact, quite the contrary, by calling up hundreds of thousands of reservists, by politically annexing, or at least trying to annex, 4 areas of Ukraine, he's shown every indication that he's doubling down, that he wants to continue to prosecute this war, which is why, quite frankly, we're in touch almost daily with the Ukrainians, and we're going to continue to provide them security assistance. You just saw the president approve another more than $600 million just a few days ago of additional HIMARS and howitzers and other ammunition and some vehicles, tactical vehicles. You're going to see us continue to do that going forward.
I want to turn to North Korea. That's someone you haven't been in touch with. Kim Jong-un is not really answering calls. He's firing off ballistic missiles, including one over Japan. He's done more than 40 missile launches. Let me ask you a simple question here. What is the strategy? I've seen this for decades and decades. The same thing happens through many presidents. You respond, you do drills. He keeps firing ballistic missiles.
We want to see the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, verifiable and complete. We want to see that. And we have communicated that to the North Koreans. In fact, we've communicated, Martha, that we are willing to sit down with them without preconditions at the negotiating table to work towards that end, without preconditions. Mr. Kim Jong-un has decided not to take us up on that offer, and quite the opposite now. He is trying to improve his ballistic missile program. He's clearly not abandoned his nuclear weapons ambitions. And so what we have to do, as we have that offer on the table, is make sure that we have also the capabilities in the region and ready to go in case we need them. We have 5 of 7 treaty commitments. 5 of our 7 treaty alliances are in the Indo-Pacific region. 1 is with Japan. Obviously, 1 is with South Korea. We take those treaty commitments very, very seriously.
But John, let me just say,
national security. So
it doesn't work. It has not worked for decades. So what are you doing differently that you think will work this time?
We have improved our intelligence capability there in and around the peninsula. We have worked hard to improve our military readiness. We did exercises this past week with the Japanese and with the South Koreans. We're working on better trilateral cooperation between all 3 of our countries. We're going to make sure that we have the capabilities in place to defend our national security interests if it comes to that. But there's no reason for it to come to that. That's the point, Martha. We could sit down, again, without preconditions with Kim Jong-un and try to find a diplomatic path forward. That's what we're committed to.
We'll all hope for the best. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.